Want to hear about Brandon Lucero's, the founder of Sold with Media, crazy roller coaster of a ride with his business? You gotta stay tuned. For being on the podcast today. How's it going? Now, I, of course, introduced you a little bit prior to us jumping on this call, but for those people that don't know who Brandon Lucero is, would you mind giving everybody kind of a bit of a background on sort of your journey and where you're at now with your business?
It was kind of a long journey for me. I'm about 6 or 7 years into business, and my story is a little unique and a little different. At least I feel like it is, because I've had lots of ups and lots of downs where I basically got into video because I was working for my dad's company. The company took off really fast, but I also saw it fall really fast and fail really fast, which left me in a really bad spot because I dropped out of school to go work for him and do all this stuff. And since it was my dad, like paychecks were coming in late and I just had a lot of payments that I never really got. And so I had to move in with my in-laws and start my business with basically no money from my in-laws' dining room table. And we built it up to now $1 million company. And we've done all that in about a 6-year period. And we've done it with no investments, no loans, none of that stuff. Basically just like grassroots, all social media, anything I could do to like get free traffic, whatever. And so, that's kind of where we are now. And we started off doing real estate videos, and now we're basically taking personal brands and people in the entrepreneur space and impactful brands and bringing them to the next level with our service.
And I am happy to say that I am one of your most avid buyers. You just create something, I will purchase it. We met, I think, 2 years ago, and I really pay attention to the journey that entrepreneurs go through. So you being in the online space, in those 2 years, I have seen such a transformation with how you've structured your business, how you're showing up in your business. I would like to say that you had your best year last year. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yep. Uh-huh.
And that was one of the big reasons why I wanted to have you on the show. Is I feel like when we are on the outside looking in and we're not reading between the lines of what people are saying, all we see is, oh my God, they have the best life. Brandon has a new Jag. He must just be scrolling in it. And I really wanted us to go back and have an honest conversation about what business actually looks like and what that journey actually looks like. And I think it's really important for people to hear that what Brandon said was, I've been in the business for 6 years, and you've built it up to a 7-figure business, but that wasn't where it was in the beginning. And the other thing is you've done a lot of other projects that had nothing to do with how your business is being run now. So I would love for you to just touch on what that journey is like, starting out grassroots, kind of just doing whatever you can, figuring out who you are, what kind of business you want to run, and then finally having that, epiphany, that 4X effect that you now are really running with.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things in business that I never realized when starting that literally change the game for everything. One is that experience is required, and the only way to gain that experience is by actually doing. And a lot of people will try to learn or research or ask mentors or ask questions and try to get all their ducks in a row. And my saying that people hear me say a million times is, you can't learn to ride a bike by reading a book. You can't learn to swim by reading a book. So why do you think business is any different? You have to go out there and you have to actually do things and put into action. And that experience gives you this thing that can't be taught. It's just kind of this unspoken thing of like, oh, I've done 6-figure launches. I've done this. I can do it over and over and over and over again. And then someone asks you, well, put it down on the paper. Specifically, what are you doing? And I can give them the steps, but there's things that I execute on those steps at a different level that only come from experience. So that was number one, the biggest thing that had happened for me. Number two was I'd never realized how much personal development is completely 100% reflective of how your business is doing. The more I developed myself and the more I worked on myself, the more money I've made. And it's because and this is something I've learned from one of my mentors over the years, is your business is a reflection of you, and who you are being and how you're being and how you're acting in the business is a direct result of how your business is going to perform. And so for the longest time, the business always did fine. Like we've been a 6-figure company for probably at least 4 or 5 of those years. We just finished out 2018, and I'll kind of backtrack to give a little bit of my story here, but 2018, we did about 1.3 in sales. In 2017, we did about 500 in revenue, and the year before we did about 250. So we've been doubling year after year after, at least doubling year after year after year. But like the 3 years before that, it was like 120,000, 150,000, 160,000. Then it was like a double, and then another double, and then like an ultimate double. But what really, for me, a lot of that growth came from trying new things and doing new things and trying new projects and testing and seeing what worked. So there was a lot of like, we did this service, and then we did this Facebook ads product, and then we did this product over here, and we kept trying to figure out what was really working. And then I had a couple partnerships that did really well, and then they fizzled out, and they did really well and fizzled out. Mm-hmm. And so even though we did like 500,000 in 2017, I wasn't really left with a lot of profit at the end of it. So there's a big difference between revenue and what you're actually left with. Mm-hmm. And so we went into 2018, coming off a $500,000 a year, going into a launch that did not go very well. That kind of put me in a hole. And I was just like, at this point where I was just maxed out, I realized like that 500,000 cap, unless something changed, that's where I'm going to max out at, because I had no time. I really had no money left over. I was living a fun life, but there was like nothing really in savings, Yeah. And my wife is a stay-at-home mom, and so all of that is on me. So I was really in this weird spot of, wow, we've had the success, but also at the same time, like, what am I doing? I'm working all the time. I have so many different projects. Nothing is streamlined. And so I ended up just getting rid of everything. And I was just like, I basically have to start over. Like, I can't sustain this anymore. I need to have a team, but I don't have the money for the team. And I need this, and I don't have the money for this. And I did have VAs, and I had contractors, and I had a lot of that stuff going on, but I did not have any like team structure. I wasn't running it as a business. I was basically running my business as like this hobby that I was doing that was taking up a lot of my time and generating some money. And it was also the launch formula where you like launch, you get all this money coming in, and then it's like done for 3 months, and it's launch again. And it was not how I wanted to run my business. So we got rid of everything in 2018. And I took on some debt. So we actually took on probably and then I got hit with taxes. I owed way more in taxes than I thought. Yeah. Damn you, government. But so I owed all these taxes, and then I had taken on some credit card debt because I stopped selling everything, because I just knew like everything had to stop. I could not keep operating this way, but I didn't know what I was going to do. And so I was in the spot where I owed the taxes. I had the credit card debt. And I remember talking to my mentor, and I'm like, I just don't know what I'm going to do or what the direction is. And I was just in a very weird place. And I remember like sitting in my office for like 3 days straight, not doing anything. And I kind of knew like I need to figure something out, but I don't know what it is. I basically got silent for 3 days, and I let it come to me. And so the idea behind this is that when we have thoughts, they just appear in our head. Like we don't actually sometimes generate the thoughts ourselves. Like sometimes we'll be sitting there and it's like, boom, it hits us. And it's like, where does that come from?
Right.
And so I was like, I don't know where it comes from, but like, let me have it, So I sat there for 3 days, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, boom, boom. These things just start popping in my head. And we created what we call the video 4X effect. And it's like, that's it. This is what I do. And I went all in with it. And I had to hire a team to do that. So my mentor says, well, where are you going to be in 8 months? Because now we're 3 months into the 2018 year. I guess where are you going to be in 9 months? And so we're going to be $1 million company. And he's like, so if you're going to be $1 million company, why are you worrying about hiring someone at this price? And why are you worrying about this? Why are you worrying about that? You should be operating where you're going to be a year from now. And so that's what I started doing. So I hired Taylor, who is my integrator, who's now my COO. And from that, in the last 9 months, we basically went from not generating any revenue to bringing in like over $1 million in sales. We doubled the size of our office. We have, I think 6 or 7 in-house employees with a team overseas as well. And we work with like the best people in the industry. We work with people in the industry that people try to develop relationship with for years to be able to work with these people, and they just came flooding into us. And so that's kind of the journey. And the whole, what I tell people is the biggest shift was me letting go of the old version of myself and stepping into this new version of Brandon, who is the $1 million business owner. And it's just a constant, I mean, Taylor and I had a meeting today where we're doing big things in our business right now. And I just told her, I'm like, I just am waiting for the day where my business is not me feeling like I'm walking off a ledge and hoping that the bridge is going to be built for me when I land. And she's like, yeah, that's why you're the entrepreneur. She's like, I don't want that. She's like, that's why I'm a great integrator, because I don't want that risk and I don't want whatever. And so I've got very okay with knowing where I'm going and just faith, like having that faith that the bridge is going to be built underneath me. And that was like the biggest shift. And then my focus in the business this year has been more on growing the team and less on growing a business, which, growing the team actually allows me to grow the business. But I don't know if that fully answered your question or not, but that's kind of been my journey over the last couple years.
I think that answer, and I really hope people are paying attention, is even I had no idea that that's what happened in 2018. We met in 2017. You rolled out the video Facebook ads program at the end of 2017. I opted into that. Then the 4X effect, I opted into that. I had no idea. So I just want to thank you so much for being so transparent about that.